Thank you very much for attending our breakout session here on Bavaria's hydrogen strategy with its goal to combine high-tech innovation and climate protection. 皆様、おはようございます。こんにちは。My name is Christian Geltinger. I'm the representative here for Bavaria in Japan, and I will be the host for today's session. バイアン州駐日来広場のゲルティンガーと申します。よろしくお願いします、皆様。The office here is in Toranomon in Minato-ku, next to the Tokyo Tower, and has been established in 1988. So the Bavarian-Japanese relationship date a long way back. Our history of connection is very tight. And our office here was actually the very first overseas office of Bavaria in the world, and also the first German state representation here in Japan. Since then, our main mission is to build and extend bridges between our two countries to catalyze economic, scientific, social exchanges, as well as direct investments in our country. And over the past 30 years, Bavaria has been developing into Germany's most dynamic business hub for Japanese businesses, as you may have just heard with the presentation at the conference. So we are proud that over 450 Japanese businesses already from various sectors already serve the European market from our state. That's quite an impressive number. Moreover, we feel that the Japanese expats can live and work in one of the most popular touristic and safe regions in Europe. It's needless to say that the current pandemic is, of course, putting a lid on that, but nevertheless, we feel that it is still quite safe compared to the neighboring countries. So before we move on to our panel of experts in hydrogen technologies, products, policies, let me take you on a short tour what it means to start a business in Bavaria.
Hello, my name's Greg Connor. I'm the CEO of a company developing robotic systems for personal use here in Bavaria. But why have we chosen this location? Well, because the facts cannot be denied. As you can see, it's the ideal European base for tech companies of the future. 36 of the world's 50 most innovative companies have subsidiaries here in Bavaria. This local network enables intensive partnerships. Plus, Bavaria is a technology powerhouse and the manufacturing hub in Europe. 102 of its companies are acknowledged world market leaders with combined sales of 392 billion euros. Admittedly, work methods here are special, but they are very, very successful. By the way, this vending machine's brilliant. Being both the #1 ICT location and a manufacturing centre, Bavaria is one of the world's leading IoT hubs. Well, at least we can't complain.
Yeah, actually I look forward when even this small agricultural commercial vehicle, this tractor, will also be powered by a fuel cell. Maybe we are going into this direction. So our first speaker today is Professor Dr. Veronika Grimm. She currently serves as one of 2 board directors for our newly established hydrogen center, H2 Bayern in Nürnberg. Professor Grimm is also chair of economic theory at the Friedrich Alexander University in Erlangen in Nürnberg. And she's one of only 5 members of Germany's most important advisory committee on economic policy, the so-called 5 Wirtschaftsweisen. So Professor Grimm, I'll hand you over the floor with your message.
I'm pleased to be able to speak to you at the Germany, Japan Industry Forum, and I also send you greetings from Germany. My name is Veronika Grimm, professor at the Friedrich Alexander University Erlangen-Nürnberg. I'm also leading the Center Hydrogen Bavaria, H2B, and I would like to introduce the Center Hydrogen Bavaria to you and the Bavarian Hydrogen Alliance. I would like to introduce to you the Center Hydrogen Bavaria and the Hydrogen Alliance Bavaria with the following slide. The Center Hydrogen Bavaria is a state-financed strategy and coordination center for hydrogen issues in Bavaria, which has been established roughly 1 year ago. And the Hydrogen Alliance Bavaria is a network of firms, universities, research institutions, and an interest platform for companies and those research institutions, associations, and municipalities, where they join in order to develop jointly a perspective on the development of hydrogen and projects in order to promote hydrogen applications. Let me first introduce to you a little bit the history of the Center Hydrogen Bavaria, tell you where we stand right now and what are the perspectives for the near future. The Hydrogen Center Bavaria has been initiated by the state government of Bavaria in order to link business, science, politics, and the public in order to develop the perspectives of hydrogen in Bavaria and in order to strengthen the use of hydrogen in the economy in Bavaria. So the rollout of hydrogen utilization in a wide range of applications is, of course, a big challenge, since there are lots of value chains based on hydrogen, which have to be developed simultaneously and cannot, and one part of the value chain cannot become efficient and cannot become profitable without development of all the other parts of the value chain. So therefore, we started to build the Hydrogen Alliance Bavaria, which aims at coordinating all these activities in order to scale up all those activities more or less at the same time. So one part that is promoted in the Center Hydrogen Bavaria is strategy development. We have established the first building blocks for the Bavarian hydrogen strategy and a hydrogen roadmap in dialogue with the Hydrogen Alliance Bavaria. So we have coordinated a big number of firms, of research institutions, and of municipalities, and worked together with them in the direction of a position paper on hydrogen, which then entered into the Bavarian hydrogen strategy. The second building block of the Center Hydrogen Bavaria is demonstration and analysis. So what we are doing is we initiate large demonstration projects and promote technology and market analysis in order to make perspectives and chances in the area of hydrogen visible to the multiple agents that are active in those markets, and in order to bring them together to make business models, business opportunities visible to firms, to municipalities, and to join them up with research institutions. The third issue is that we provide networking capacity and do some public relations activities. The networking capacities should give the different members of the Hydrogen Network Bavaria the possibility to meet, to discuss ideas, to promote projects, and to drive things further together rather than alone. We provide the platforms in the Center Hydrogen Bavaria for them to do this. So what have we done since we have been established at September 5, 2019. In the beginning of our activities, we organized a lot of network meetings and discussion rounds among the multiple agents that are interested in the topic of hydrogen in Bavaria. That happened in focused discussion rounds along the technology fields of hydrogen production, hydrogen logistics, hydrogen applications. And in the area of applications, we looked at various applications in different meetings. We have then published some key points with respect to hydrogen in December, and published a position paper on the Bavarian hydrogen economy in May, which was the starting point for the Bavarian hydrogen strategy. At the moment, we are in the process for developing a Bavarian hydrogen roadmap in order to get a clear picture what could be a timeline to develop hydrogen in different fields of actions, so production, logistics, applications, and also international relations with respect to hydrogen for Bavaria. The Bavarian hydrogen strategy has been announced in this summer and is based on the position paper of the Bavarian Hydrogen Alliance. It has a big focus, a strong focus on green hydrogen and also on mobility. Bavaria is certainly primarily interested in hydrogen, or very strongly interested in hydrogen from a technology perspective. There are a lot of firms with a lot of expertise in various fields that have a relation to hydrogen production in the area of electrolysis. And also in mobility, there are a lot of firms that are active, and also in terms of logistics, hydrogen logistics is also a field where the Bavarian firms have particular strengths to develop. So the goal of the Bavarian hydrogen strategy is first, of course, to promote hydrogen in order to contribute to achieving the climate targets, to ramp up the hydrogen economy rapidly, and to promote long-term economic growth. On the one hand, there's a lot of technological expertise in Bavaria, but of course, the possibilities to produce hydrogen, in particular green hydrogen, are limited. So there is also a big interest in relating with potentially hydrogen exporting countries in order to benefit. What is the Bavarian hydrogen strategy focusing on? So there are some implementation steps that have to be mentioned. First, there is the high-tech agenda Bavaria. So there's big research activities going on to strengthen research in hydrogen in Bavaria, which is already very strong at several universities in Bavaria. Then there is, of course, the aim to establish test and user facilities in order to also promote and make the transfer of research into usable products more rapid. Then there is the introduction of a Bavarian funding guideline complementary to federal funding. So we aim at particularly fund Bavarian initiatives complementary to federal funding, or also complementary to European funding. And then there's a particular emphasis on developing model regions and demonstration projects in certain areas. There are already 6 hydrogen areas, hydrogen regions in Bavaria that promote hydrogen in a joint effort among the municipality, among research, and among several firms. I already mentioned the development of a hydrogen roadmap for Bavaria. The roadmap basically aims at giving a certain perspective, a certain timeline, so that the development of hydrogen activities along the hydrogen value chains takes place parallelly for many firms, so that they have a certain so that regulatory uncertainty and uncertainty for the investments are reduced. What potential does Bavaria have for hydrogen? We have done a SWOT analysis in the hydrogen position paper, and I would like to focus on just a few aspects here. So there are quite some strengths in Bavaria. In particular, there's a strength in innovative and technological expertise in the area of hydrogen. We have strong firms, OEMs, and a supplier industry, and there is certainly a lot of willingness to invest in future applications of hydrogen in the economy. On the other hand, there are also some weaknesses. So in particular, in Bavaria, there's a relatively low potential for renewable energies. It's not as in the Baltic Sea or in the North Sea that there is a huge potential of full load hours for renewable energies. So there will certainly be certainly be an interest to import hydrogen in the longer run. At the moment, there's also a lack of hydrogen infrastructure, which of course will be addressed in the current hydrogen strategies. So there is a hydrogen strategy, of course, not only for Bavaria, but also Germany and also Europe has a hydrogen strategy that focuses very much on the buildup of infrastructure for hydrogen. So this will be addressed in the upcoming years. And up to now, there has been a lack of networking in the relevant fields of action. And this is very important to ramp this up, because there is a big need to develop the value chains simultaneously. What are the opportunities? Of course, there are a lot of future markets for firms in Bavaria. There is a permanent technological leaderships in key components and technology possible. We are already technologically in the research and also in the industry in a very good position. And there is a big interest to stabilize this and even to expand the technological position here. What are possible threats? Of course, one possible complication, one challenge, if we want to develop hydrogen, is a long planning horizon. So the ramp up of the hydrogen economy will take at least 10 to 15 years until all the applications are really running profitable. And so there's a long planning horizon, which is also a big challenge for single firms that focus business activities in that area. We have also a big discussion in Germany on the legal framework. So right now there are many disincentives to use hydrogen due to current regulation, and this is addressed currently in the German discussion, in the German policy discussion, and this will change, but typically these processes take some time. Moreover, of course, at the moment, hydrogen is still green hydrogen is still quite expensive. And so one aim must be to scale up in order to get the cost of hydrogen production down. But also here, it will take some time until one can deliver. A global perspective is, of course, important for Bavaria, but also for Germany. Germany has always been a net energy importer. Also today, Germany is importing 72%, around 72% of its primary energy. So this will be the case also in the future. Germany will be a net energy importer, and since this is not really doable with electricity alone, hydrogen and synthetic fuels are very important in order to substitute the import of fossil energy sources in the future. And this is, of course, a scenario one can think of in a broader range. There are certainly countries within Europe from which one could import hydrogen or synthetic fuels, energy carriers in the future. But one can also see, and calculations confirm this view at the moment, that there's a wide range of countries worldwide from which one could possibly import also synthetic fuels and green hydrogen. Among them, of course, countries like Argentina, Chile, Canada, Namibia, Morocco, and also there has been built a alliance with Australia in order to import hydrogen in the longer run from Australia. This maps illustrates that, and of course there are various countries worldwide that have good conditions to produce renewable hydrogen in the longer run. Those are countries that have attractive conditions for renewable energies. That can be wind energy, but it can also be solar. It can be combinations of wind, solar, and geothermal energy. So there is a wide range of countries which one could possibly build up relationships to import green energies in the future. And those are countries which have currently already relationships in the context of energy exports with Germany, but there are also countries that have good conditions to produce green hydrogen and have not yet had such a relationship with Germany. So this is something that Germany also aims at in the context of the current hydrogen strategy, to initiate partnerships and to initiate partnerships with current partners in order to transfer the import to get a change from the import from fossil primary energies into the trade with renewable energies. But there are also ambitions to build up new partnerships in order to import green hydrogen. So let me summarize some key points here. So one focus of Germany and also of Bavaria is certainly the import of green hydrogen in the longer run from countries within Europe, but also beyond. A very important point for Bavaria and for Germany as a whole is to build up technological leadership in at least some key components, technology fields, and fields of application of hydrogen. And there are multiple chances in the German industry right now where firms have good conditions in order to build up this expertise, already have the expertise. An aim is certainly to also export technology and key components, either to produce hydrogen, green hydrogen abroad and import green hydrogen, but also to export key components for hydrogen applications worldwide. The development of infrastructure in order to transport hydrogen is key. And that is important within Germany and within Bavaria, but also for global hydrogen trade. And for that aim, of course, Germany currently looks for international corporations, and those corporations, of course, can be with countries that have complementarity complementary expertise, but also with countries that have the different conditions, for example, for the production of green hydrogen. Let me briefly also introduce to you the Hydrogen Alliance Bavaria. What are the firms that are behind all these activities, that drive these activities forward? And here you see a picture of the event where the Center Hydrogen Bavaria has been founded, and also the Hydrogen Alliance Bavaria has been established. It was initiated with around 15 firms that participated from the beginning on, but the Hydrogen Alliance Bavaria grew rapidly, and by now we have far over 100 firms that work in all fields of action in the area of hydrogen, that are interested in developing business models in the area of hydrogen, and join up in the Hydrogen Alliance Bavaria. The competences and industries in the Hydrogen Alliance are really manifold. So we have now over 120 partners. They have a variety of activities and interests, and they are very different also in size. Among those firms, there are clear market and technology leaders from various industries in the field of hydrogen, but there are also small firms that have not yet gotten in touch with hydrogen, but see that there are interesting business models in the future, and have the possibility to join up with the firms that have already expertise in order to push forward their activities. And the fields are manifold. It's automotive engineering, fuel cell technology, gas logistics, connection technology, sensor technology, all kinds of issues that are very strongly placed in Bavaria, and which will certainly take their chances to drive this field of research and of business models forward in the future. So I hope that was interesting for you. Hydrogen will have a key role in the German and the European ambition to become climate neutral. We are all looking forward to shape this process in the future together with partners, together also with partners from Japan, nationally and abroad. And I wish you a great conference. Goodbye.
Thank you very much, Professor Grimm, for this excellent journey through Bavaria, and the aim to further push hydrogen as an important part of our national high-tech agenda. I think she made a good point that Bavaria and Japan are actually quite comparable when it comes to being foreseeable in the foreseeable future, a hydrogen net importer. I think we are in a quite similar situation. She mentioned Australia, the Middle East. I think those countries are also the areas where Japan is actually actively importing hydrogen at the moment. And she also touched upon the issue to the importance of networking. And this is an excellent, I think, ball in my court to hand over now to the networking experts. We stay in Nürnberg geographically because this will be the stage where exactly in 1 week we will have this new dialogue established on hydrogen with all the shareholders and the members that Professor Grimm just mentioned. And with that, I hand over to Mr. Weyer. He is the Executive Director of Messe Nürnberg GmbH, who will host this new platform. Mr. Weyer, please.
Thank you very much. Good morning and hello to you all. It's a pleasure to be here and to introduce the Hydrogen Dialogue Summit and Expo, which is a quite new show and platform for the complete hydrogen community. But let me introduce myself at first. My name is Benedikt Weyer, and I'm an Executive Director at the Nürnberg Messe. Nürnberg Messe is a company which belongs to the top 15 exhibition companies worldwide, and in Germany we are in the top 5 of the exhibition industry. And as Professor Grimm mentioned, that there are a few founding members of the H2 Bavaria, and we are proud to be one of the founding members, and therefore we have a big interest to be the host and the provider of the dialogue platform for the complete industry. What is our mission? Our mission is to address the right people, the policymakers, the companies who are doing business in the hydrogen industry or thinking about doing business there, the science people, the complete university landscape in Germany and worldwide, and also, of course, the industry associations and the press people. What we are providing is solutions for all the target groups. We want to bring them the solutions for the problems. They're thinking about the new projects that we want to provide solutions, and we want to make a great experience for them, that they can experience the complete hydrogen products, the solutions. And if you think about buses and vehicles, we can show them, we can let them test them. And the most important thing is to bring the people into a dialogue, to exchange knowledge, to exchange new projects, new ideas. And the hydrogen dialogue should be the place to be for the hydrogen community, but not brought by Nürnberg Messe to the communities. Our claim was from the hydrogen community for the community. For 2020, we will address 6 topics in the conference. It's the generation of hydrogen, producing green hydrogen is one big thing. The logistics behind the usage and the strategy we address, but also we discuss use cases and cost effectiveness, and also we have one panel in which we want to discuss the international strategy and the international impact of hydrogen technology. The main target groups for this year's event is the businessmen, the policymakers, and the scientifics. Due to the current situation and the pandemic in Europe, we had to do a hard decision. The Hydrogen Dialogue was planned as a live event for next week, but 2 weeks ago, we have to make the hard decision that we transform the program and the event to the digital way. And we are very happy to bring these 4 main topics of the conference: the matchmaking thing, the live streamings, the back practice hubs, and the one-to-one chats with exhibitors and other members and participants, to a digital platform called Talk, but it's not so important. But we are happy to have the premier event now in a digital platform way. If you see in the excerpt of our program, we also addressed there the 3 main target groups. Hubert Aiwanger, as the Deputy Bavarian Prime Minister, will be there and will be held the keynote and the opening speech. Also, we could win Klaus Rosenfeld, CEO of Schaeffler AG, to have one keynote, and of course Professor Grimm is also there. So we have the policy, we have the industry, and we have the scientifics there. We have in the 2 live streams roughly 40 speeches and panels, and it's a very good mixture and interesting program for the target groups. if we see what will be next, this year we focused on the Germany, and we do the conference in German language. But we are thinking about, and we are convinced that we should change the conference language to English, and getting more and more international. And the highlight for 2025 should be, we have a huge conference and a huge exhibition at Nuremberg for international audience, and with the participants from all over the world. And I think it could be a very good chance to think about cooperation models between Bavaria, Germany, and also Japan, to bring all the interests and all the ideas in the hydrogen industry to this platform in Nuremberg. You see the fact, next week, Wednesday, we start. If you are interested, it's only in German, but of course I can provide some links and tickets for you. If you let me know, feel free to contact me. And I hope that you have a short overview about Hydrogen Dialogue right now. And I would be happy to welcome you 21 in Nuremberg when we go the next Hydrogen Dialogue Summit and Expo as a live event. Thank you very much for your attention.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Weierer, for the invitation to Nuremberg next year. I'd certainly like to pick that up. But before we will be going to Nuremberg, actually, I am expecting you and Professor Grimm to come to Japan. We just talked about before. We very much look forward to your visit, planned for March next year, and I will touch upon this at the end of the session. But now let me move on. Bavaria, I think, if you ask, in Japan, is most famous for its expertise and leading companies in mobility, be it on the road, railway, air, or even outer space. Just think about the Galileo satellite system, the European GPS, so to speak, which is its control center also in Bavaria. So I think it's very fortunate that two of our top national mobility brands, namely Toyota and BMW, have entered into a comprehensive cooperation, including hydrogen-powered mobility. And so we will not first hear not from the Toyota Motor Company directly, but from a Toyota dealer in Bavaria, about 50 kilometers east of the Munich airport. And this dealer brings not only the Mirai, the future, on Bavarian roads, literally, but puts hydrogen into practical use in an innovative, sustainable way. So I'm very much pleased to welcome live from Bavaria, the owner of HySchober Toyota dealership, Mr. HySchober. You can take over the floor now. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Gelting, for your introduction. So there's nothing to say for me. You already introduced me. Very short, my name is HySchober. I'm owner of the car dealership, the Toyota car dealership, and our mission is to get hydrogen in touch with public. We have prepared a presentation, so I would like to share with you video clip and something like that.
南通部分ビルデンからお送りいたします。ご覧の通り、当店は普通のトヨタディーラーと、こちら南通部分ビルデンからお送り、こちら。
One moment. Do you see our clip? Do you see it?
当店は普通のトヨタディーラーとは少し違います。南通との H2 イニシアティブプロジェクトの一環として、当店も水素エネルギーの活用に貢献しています。訪れたお客様、すなわち住民に実際水素技術に触れて知っていただくために、30台以上の中古車の未来をドイツ中からお取り寄せました。
Wir melden uns hier direkt von unserem Standort in Velden im Landkreis Landshut. Wie Sie schon sehen können im Hintergrund, wir sind kein normales Autohaus, wir haben auch nicht nur normale Fahrzeuge bei uns auf dem Hof. Wir sind Teil der H2-Initiative Landshut und das heißt, wir setzen uns aktiv für Wasserstoff als Energieträger der Zukunft ein. Konkret haben wir deshalb bei uns auf dem Hof aktuell über 30 gebrauchte Toyota Mirai stehen. Die haben wir aus ganz Deutschland bei uns zusammengezogen und wollen damit den Bürgern bei uns in der Region und den Bürgern in ganz Bayern das Thema Wasserstoff, die Wasserstofftechnologie näher bringen und die Bürger darauf vorbereiten. Hydrogen at HySchober. Tell us something about your motivation behind the project, about the story.
Well, I grew up in a Toyota car dealership in Munich, and I grew up with the Toyota way, with the environmental challenge. It's a Japanese topic, and I understood very early in my life that there is a way to an emission-free world. The way is storing sun power or wind power into hydrogen, green hydrogen, and I asked myself, why is there no company, no politician at all who wants to get the topic running? And I said to myself, when you know it, you are a Toyota dealer, you have cars with the power with hydrogen, by hydrogen, so you have to do it. That was my motivation to start a small revolution from the bottom.
So now the first step of that revolution is done. We have Europe's biggest emission-free fleet here with more than 30 Toyota Mirais. How are they used here at HySchober?
Yes, we rolled out the Mirais into the motor regions, the hydrogen motor regions, all over Germany. The motor regions need something to show for public that they are making efforts with public hydrogen. So they need a flexible, affordable way to show it, and our used Mirais are the perfect way to do this.
So now that's also like a big effort for you as a company, but also something that is interesting for politics, for the economy in general. How did politicians, how did other people here in the region react?
Yes, our Mirai fleet was a door opener because the politicians, they asked, why is he doing that kind of thing, gathering lots of Mirais on his dealership without having any fuel station or something like that. And this interest was the reason why there are politicians knocking on my door and asking what's going on with you, what's your goal? And my goal is even bigger thing, but we come to it later. Thank you. Welcome.
プロジェクトミライは今年2020年、ここトヨタディーラーショーバーでスタートしました。10名のクライアントとともにミュンヘンからベルリンへ最初の10台が運ばれてきました。
Anfang 2020 haben wir das Projekt Mirai-Flotte hier im Toyota HySchober gestartet. Damals sind wir gemeinsam mit 10 interessierten Kunden nach München gefahren und haben die ersten 10 Mirais abgeholt und in einer großen Kolonne nach Velden gebracht.
Ja, wir starten jetzt nach München und holen eine Flotte an Mirais für uns, für das Auto HySchober, und wollen da eine lokale Brennstoffzellenflotte aufbauen. Mich interessiert das Ganze mal, ich möchte mal schauen, wie sich so ein Auto fährt, und naja, lass mich überraschen. Interesse, wie ist es so fort? Ich habe es zufällig in meinem Internet gesehen und habe gedacht, okay, das nutze ich mal die Gelegenheit, ein bisschen mehr zu fahren, wie bloß 20, 30 Kilometer.
Also ich finde es super, weil
man als Dumping zum Klimaschutz schon etwas mehr tun möchte. Und für die Gegend hier ist es innovativ.
Wasserstoff ist deshalb notwendig, weil das unser Energiespeicherproblem lösen kann. Wir können überschüssigen Strom mit Wasserstoff speichern und in der Zeit verwenden, wo wir ihn brauchen, nämlich im Winter und in der Nacht. Und somit die regenerative Stromerzeugung dadurch nach vorne bringen. Die erste Feeling ist sehr positiv. Schöne Verarbeitung, übersichtlich, bequem, zieht gut durch. Dann kann man ein bisschen knackiger auf Kurven gehen und da hält sich ja schön. Man merkt dafür, dass man Wasserstoff- oder Elektroauto fährt. Das ist ein Fahren wie in einem Auto, das mit Automatik betrieben wird. Ich fahre schon seit 15 Jahren Prius und das ist fast das gleiche, bloß leiser, noch leiser. Was Uno gesagt hat, wirst schauen, wenn das so reagiert, das Elektroauto wie ein Elektro-Gabelstapler, dann gehst du vom Gas hoch und du landest in die Gurte. Aber dem ist es absolut nicht so. Ich gehe jetzt vom Gas runter, haben sie irgendwas gemerkt, gar nichts. Fahrt sich wie ein Auto mit Benzin oder Dieselmotor. Also ich finde das doch eine Technik und eine Technologie, die weiter gefördert werden sollte die nächsten Jahre auf alle Fälle. Wenn man von den normalen Benzin und Diesel weg will, muss. Mein Fazit, es hat viel Spaß gemacht, es war richtig geil, das Auto ist sehr überzeugend, super Kaffer, also wenn ich das nötige Kleingeld überhaupt kaufen wollen. Das war jetzt der Startschuss für ein lokales Projekt, wo wir mit der Brennstoffzelle loslegen und jetzt geht es dann los, dass wir die Modellregion richtig anfeuern.
実は当店にはもう一つのプロジェクトが行われています。それは2021年半ば、フランス北部ガイゼンハウゼンに世界初の水素エネルギーのみで稼働する完全カーボンニュートラルなディーラーを建設することです。では、そのエネルギーコンセプトを見てみましょう。
Das Projekt Mirai-Flotte ist aber nur ein kleiner Teilbereich in der Wasserstoffwelt hier im Toyota Autohaus Schober. Mitte 2021 startet in Geisenhausen bei Landshut der Bau des weltweit ersten klimaneutralen Autohauses mit Wasserstoff als Energieträger. Und das Energiekonzept hierzu, das möchten wir Ihnen jetzt einmal genauer vorstellen.
What's so special about the energy concept of the new car dealership in Geisenhausen? And what's the story behind how does it work? There's the story is we get energy from the sun and we catch it by photovoltaics on the roof, and we store the energy in hydrogen, and we use it in winter's time or when the sun doesn't shine, and we even use a stationary fuel cell waste heat of the fuel cell for heating the building. So we have a round concept for an emission-free energy system for a building. And yes, we even have hydrogen, a little bit of hydrogen that we can use in a public fueling station for our emission-free beer fleet.
So that's a very innovative concept. Is it something you want to use as a lighthouse project for you, for our HySchober, or do you have some other goals with it?
Just creating a lighthouse project doesn't make sense in my opinion. It has to be a blueprint for everyone. When we manage it to get this concept running, there is no reason why others shouldn't do that too.
実機の提供を通して人々に知ってもらう試みが当店の目標となります。店長ヨアヒム・ショーバーはこのプロジェクトを通してランズウッド郡というローカルな場所の小企業でも大きな目標を持ち結果を出せるということを証明してくれました。これからの挑戦はこの目標を達成するためパートナー企業を作ることです。なぜなら H2 はチームワークと協力で実現するプロジェクトだからです。
Sie sehen, HySchober oder das neue Autohaus Schober wird viel mehr werden als ein reiner Unternehmenssitz. Hier geht es darum, ein Wasserstoffdemonstrationsobjekt zu schaffen für die gesamte Gesellschaft. Und das Beispiel von Joachim Schober, unserem Geschäftsführer hier im Toyota Autohaus Schober, zeigt, dass man auch aus kleinen Gemeinden, auch aus kleinen Unternehmen heraus große Visionen vorantreiben kann. Jetzt geht es darum, die richtigen Partner zu finden, damit aus diesen Visionen auch Realität wird. Denn H2 geht nur gemeinsam. Wir sind hier vor dem Autohaus Schober in Velden im Landkreis Lanz und es geht hier darum, dass wir innovative Wasserstofftechnik voranbringen wollen. Wir haben hier eine größere Flotte an Mirai-Fahrzeugen auf dem Hof stehen, also ein Projekt, das hier über diese Region läuft und das auch vom Bayerischen Wirtschaftsministerium jetzt genauer ins Visier genommen wird. Wo können wir hier unterstützen? Wie können wir diese innovativen Techniken voranbringen? Wasserstoff voran, dafür kämpfen wir.
So, thank you very much for your attention. That was a short excursus to our project, and I hope we were able to show it what we plan to do.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Schober, also Mr. Schmidbauer, for this very, very exciting contribution. I think you all whetted our appetite to actually try a Mirai. In Bavaria, of course, we're here in Japan, it's a little bit easier. And we have a fuel cell station right next door to our office, actually. So I hope you can come and visit it as well. I'm also glad that you hosted our minister, Mr. Aiwanger. I think he's pushing the hydrogen development in Bavaria quite well. And if I remember your video correctly, I think you had a view where the cars were actually going into the city of Munich and approaching the two highlight towers with IBM and Fujitsu logos on top. If you make a right turn on that spot, you will go directly towards the BMW headquarters. So that brings me to the next presenter. So the Bayerische Motorenwerke, or BMW for short, they have already been mentioned now many times. It's not only an iconic Bavarian brand, but we also share the official colors, white and blue for our state, or blue and white in the BMW logo. And so I'm really delighted and glad and honored that we will hear now from the Vice President, Hydrogen Fuel Technology and Vehicle Projects of the BMW Group headquarter in Munich, Dr. Jürgen Guldner, on BMW's hydrogen strategy.
Hello and welcome to the presentation about fuel cell technology at BMW. My name is Jürgen Guldner and I'm speaking to you from the BMW headquarters in Munich, Germany. Thank you very much for having me today. I'm very excited to give you an overview about our position on hydrogen and our current developments. We at BMW are committed to the Paris Agreement on climate change. We are working very actively on the transition towards zero-emission mobility. On the other hand, customer satisfaction is at the core of everything we do. We strive to provide each customer with the vehicle and the powertrain that best suits the individual mobility needs. Our combustion engines always have been among the most efficient while delivering outstanding dynamic performance, and we continue to improve them continuously still. In addition, we have started early to electrify our vehicle portfolio, developing both hybrid powertrains and battery electric vehicles. By the year 2023, we will have 25 electrified models available to our customers worldwide. In the future, fuel cell electric vehicles could become another pillar in this strategy that we call the power of choice. Let me start by briefly outlining how we see the pathway into a decarbonized future. Ultimately, when all our energy will come from renewable sources, we are convinced that hydrogen will play a major role. Hydrogen is well suited in addition to the direct use of electricity because it can be stored and it can be transported. In other words, hydrogen can be used to store renewable energy from hydro, solar, and wind power over long periods of time, and hydrogen can be used to transport renewable energy over long distances. Japan has long recognized this potential and has started early to invest in hydrogen technology. Recently, also the state of Bavaria, the state of Germany, and the European Union have announced their hydrogen strategies, describing the pathway to a hydrogen economy. When talking about hydrogen, it is important to explain the electrification challenge. There are cases where direct use of renewable power is very efficient. This applies to certain industry applications, to public transport in cities, and urban and everyday commute mobility. On the other hand, there are also applications where the direct use of renewable electricity is impractical or even impossible. Here, hydrogen can help into the green energy. This then becomes an indirect usage of the renewable energy through hydrogen. This will be necessary in certain industries, for example those who require high-grade heat, and also in some applications of the mobility sectors. Various studies have shown that commercial vehicles could be a first important application, especially heavy-duty trucks and coaches. For passenger vehicles, we at BMW are convinced that the best strategy is to give our customers the power of choice. In other words, to let the customers choose which powertrain best suits the individual mobility needs. And here we also see a potential for hydrogen fuel cell vehicles. For example, especially for those customers who frequently travel long distances, who need a high flexibility in their mobility, or who simply don't have regular access to electric charging infrastructure. BMW's competence in hydrogen and fuel cell technology goes back many years. We started in 1980 working on several generations of hydrogen vehicles. An exciting project then was the BMW H2R, which broke 9 speed records for hydrogen vehicles at the time. It had a V12 hydrogen combustion engines. And some of you probably also remember the legendary BMW Hydrogen 7, which also had a combustion engine burning hydrogen and a liquid hydrogen tank. These experiences enabled us to make the decision that instead of using the combustion engine and liquid hydrogen, we should go to fuel cell and hydrogen gas for the future applications. we teamed up with the Toyota Motor Corporation to work on fuel cell powertrain systems and modular components for hydrogen fuel cell vehicles under a joint product development cooperation agreement. Our first vehicle was the 5 Series GT, which was presented in 2015 and then followed in 2019 by the BMW i Hydrogen Next. The switch from combustion of hydrogen in the 7 Series to fuel cell technology in the 5 Series GT was mainly due to the increase of efficiency that almost doubled, which directly translates into the driving range. We now also use the 700 bar hydrogen gas instead of the liquid hydrogen because that is simply not feasible for passenger vehicles. When we went from our first generation in the 5 Series GT to the second generation in the BMW i Hydrogen Next, we were able to improve all performance categories in the overall vehicle. We showed this vehicle already last year at the Frankfurt Motor Show, and we will have a test fleet ready by the end of the year 2022. This vehicle is fitted with 2 hydrogen tanks, 700 bar as I mentioned before. They contain almost 6 kilograms of hydrogen in total. This enables a pretty long driving range. The fueling process only takes 3 to 4 minutes. We have developed the fuel cell system together with our partner Toyota, and it delivers up to 125 kilowatts of electric power. Together with the battery, which is tuned for high power, we will have a total of 275 kilowatts available for the electric traction motor that is located in the rear of the vehicle. So what's next? The first generation was the 5 GT. Now we're working on this second generation in the BMW i Hydrogen Next. Before we can make a customer offer, there are a few challenges that have to be met. Of course, the biggest challenge is customer demand, which we kind of need worldwide, at least in several markets. Customer demand is directly linked to the customer offer, but also to the infrastructure. In other words, to the number of gas stations that offer hydrogen, especially green hydrogen, at a reasonable price. In several countries, there is a network of hydrogen gas stations being built up, and we're confident that this buildup of the infrastructure will continue in the next few years, such that in the second half of this decade, maybe the customers will have sufficient gas stations to drive around wherever they want to. Of course, there could be synergies. We're convinced that there will be synergies between us and our partners, but also there could be synergies between the different mobility applications, especially between the commercial vehicle sector and the passenger vehicle sector. For example, in terms of gas stations again, or in terms of sharing certain components, which could be similar between those applications. We're looking forward to working with several partners and suppliers on these challenges, but we're convinced that this is the right way for the future. Thank you very much for your attention.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Guldner in Munich for this fascinating ride on BMW and the outlook into the future. Again, the Mirai, so to speak. I think your cooperation also with Toyota is exemplary for the joint cooperation between Bavarian and Japanese companies. And it was also mentioned that the Frankfurt Motor Show, the IAA, is actually was for the last time in Frankfurt. It's coming down to Munich as of next year. So we invite all of you who are interested in mobility and to join the next generation of Motor Show then in Munich end of 2021. The final panelist is no other than our Director General of our Ministry for Economic Affairs, Regional Development and Energy, Ms. Dr. Ulrike Wolf. She had recently the honor of being an invited speaker for the Hydrogen Energy Ministerial Meeting hosted by the METI, so the Japanese Ministry for Industry, Economics and Trade, Minister Kajiyama. And I'm able here to share her take on Bavaria's hydrogen jet strategy as presented at this high-level meeting in Tokyo very recently. Second.
Greetings to this high-level hydrogen energy ministerial meetings, also from us in Bavaria, distinguished participants. A lot of time and energy has been spent on Corona crisis management worldwide during the last few months, but fortunately, also a lot has happened in this time in terms of hydrogen, especially on the European Community level and beyond. Today's meeting is promoting in an important way to the topic of hydrogen on an international level. Thank you very much. Bavaria is very happy to support this. Japan and Germany, or Bavaria, can mutually advance each other concerning this future technology. Japan is the central pioneer and trailblazer in the field of hydrogen. And Germany has a lot of experience in expanding and integrating renewable energy. These complementary skills will help us to build a global hydrogen market. Bavaria, like the federal government and the European Community, has set up its own hydrogen strategy. The central common message is the future belongs to green hydrogen produced without carbon. It is a central pillar of the energy system of the future. We have to act quickly and courageously worldwide in order to seize the great future opportunities that green hydrogen offers for our jobs and our environment. The advantages are apparent. Only with hydrogen and its diverse applications, we will be able to convert industry and mobility completely to use renewable energy in the long term. Hydrogen also facilitates global logistics and the importation of renewable energy. And finally, a future hydrogen economy as a growth market will strengthen our industrial location in times of change. Hydrogen is therefore an indispensable component of Bavarian energy and economic policy. In May of this year, we adopted the Bavarian hydrogen strategy. It considers the entire hydrogen value chain: generation, storage, transport, and use. For instance, in the sectors of industry and transport. Our objective is Bavaria should become the leading location for hydrogen technologies. It is clear that we will have to import significant quantities of our future hydrogen demand. For this purpose, we have to establish new energy partnerships and to introduce new transport technologies. Bavaria's strategy is a strategy of technology leadership on a win-win basis. Countries with a lot of sun and wind will concentrate more on production, and we will concentrate on the development and the exportation of technologies like electrolyzers, fuel cells, or technologies for hydrogen storage. The Bavarian research landscape, our powerful automotive and supply industries, as well as our export-oriented machine and plant construction industry, offer the best conditions in this field. The Bavarian hydrogen strategy pursues three strategic approaches. First, striving for innovation and technology leadership. Second, accelerating industrial scale and profitability. And third, accelerating the use of hydrogen in transport and industry and the expansion of hydrogen infrastructure. As a basic infrastructure, 100 hydrogen filling stations are to be built throughout Bavaria by 2023. Bavaria is already in the middle of implementing its strategy. First, we have started our hydrogen research campaign by supporting a large number of innovative research projects like development of large electrolyzers, fuel cells or for commercial vehicles, or for hydrogen storage for safe transport over long distances. The next step leads from the laboratory to the road. And we also want to accelerate this with our new user centers. Second, we are supporting the development of the infrastructure with our new Bavarian funding guidelines for hydrogen filling stations already mentioned. Third, in September last year, we founded the Center Hydrogen Bavaria, H2B, and at the same time, we launched a Bavarian Hydrogen Alliance. Bavaria thus has created a powerful network of 100 industry partners from innovative SMEs to global players. H2B is an important hub also for an exchange with international partners. Finally, we are also setting the course for the future of hydrogen in our foreign trade promotion to open up new markets for Bavarian expertise. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, hydrogen is a key to climate protection, innovation, and value creation. The period up to 2030 is the decisive stage for developing a hydrogen economy. The door is now wide open and we have to use it. As a hydrogen pioneer, Japan can become a valuable partner to us in this field. Events like this are very enriching. I wish you a profitable event, and I wish us all visible success in hydrogen technology. Thank you very much.
Yeah, this brings me to my closing statements. But first of all, thanks a lot for all the participants, contributors to today's session. Of course, the participants for the live stream and also for the viewers of the on-demand streaming that will be made available by our partners, GTIA. Also very thankful greetings to our colleagues in Berlin and here in the Tokyo office. I would also close with three invitations for all of you. First of all, continue the dialogue. You're more than welcome to visit us physically here in our office in Kamiyacho. So we are open, we have open doors, and would like to continue what we've heard today and also refer you to experts that you would like to meet, either virtual like today or then physical when it becomes possible again, when the travel restrictions are lifted in both directions. Secondly, I already touched upon this. We really hopeful that next year in March, the first week of March, we will have the honor to welcome our Minister Aiwanger joined with a delegation on hydrogen. So I think many of the speakers today you will see again then in March here in Tokyo, in combination with other members from industry and organizations. So the FC Expo, the Fuel Cell Expo, in Tokyo Big Site is certainly a stage that we would like to also continue the dialogue there and exchange experiences and have, of course, site visits here in the Tokyo area, or not only maybe the Tokyo area. And tomorrow, that's Thursday, November 12th, we will be hosting another online seminar, this time by our colleagues from Invest in Bavaria headquarters in Munich in partnership with JETRO, Japan Club Munich, and the Consulate General, the Japanese Consulate General in Munich, for Japanese businesses that have already established their business and presence in Bavaria, to give them more incentives and more inspiration how to grow the business, and also to inform them about new developments like we've heard today in the hydrogen sector. I think this is interesting for all companies, being on the supplier side or the user side. So if you're interested to join in, it's free. And then tomorrow we will post this also on this one-on-one match making platform here at the GTI and JGIF website. But also you can look up our website, investinbavaria.com or .jp, the JETRO website or the Consul General. Contact us here through the direct GTI JGIF website to join the seminar tomorrow. It starts at 6 p.m. Japan time. So it's hopefully after office, quite an interesting view into what is the situation of Japanese companies in Bavaria doing business there already. As I said in the very beginning, this is our main task, to connect people from these companies to navigate Japanese companies on their way to Europe. And of course, certainly we would like to see them in the end being active and engaged in Bavaria. I think you have seen the opportunities, the possibilities that we offer. And we would like to invite the newcomers as much as let's say, the pros that are already active. So again, this brings us to the real closing. Again, thank you very much, Mr. Weyer and Mr. Schober, for your live contributions, and all the other presenters for supporting this seminar today, which I'm about to close now. Thank you very much for your participation. Thank you very much. ごちそうさまでした。